We're
Are we live?
live. It looks, yeah, we're live.
Hey
We'll find out for
guys.
sure.
Hey. It's us. It's Anthony.
And Mike,
And we are the
the
Marlows.
Marlows.
So I hope you missed us. I hope
Yeah,
it's been a week. For those of you who may not know, last week we had a little technical mishap, and that was a long and short of it. That's a short and long
yeah.
of it, or whatever.
Technical difficulties.
Little technical difficulties. So I wanted to make sure we actually had everything straightened out and taken care of prior to coming back. So we didn't want to rush back. So it was like, well, we'll just have this week off and just make sure everything is good.
Exactly.
So is that fine with you?
Sounds good to me.
Hope y'all didn't have too many sleepless nights. We know
I
y'all
know.
missed us. So yeah, we are live. So whether people chime in or not, this video will still be up, and we
Exactly.
still plan on keep on talking.
Right.
So what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So there's a lot. You're going to see a lot of stuttering and delays
Right.
because we're
It's-
trying to because we want to talk about things we were going to talk about last week, but some of them aren't pertinent anymore
Okay.
or aren't as relevant. But there was one that I did want to bring up, and that's the even though it's old, I know, but there's only 2 points I want to make. I want to talk about, and that's the versus battle
Yeah.
with the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right.
Not going to go real deep into it because everybody's been talking about it for
We
the
know
last.
you all saw it.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah, and everybody's been memeing and everything about it. So, the only point I wanted to make was mostly about while watching it, noticing the difference in the type of mood and vibes of the different the different artists. So it's like Earth, Wind, and Fire gives you one vibe, and Isley Brothers gives you totally
something different.
Yeah, and it's almost like it was like they paired the wrong groups together. Maybe it should have been like the OJs and the Isley Brothers. What do you think?
It's either that or they were intentionally trying to go from one extreme to the next.
That's
Like,
true.
it's just totally like just two totally different moods or vibes. Like you were saying with Isley Brothers, all you think of is just loving and being sensual and things like that. And Earth Wind,
sensual, sexual,
right? Like, and that's putting it politely. But then also you have Earth, Wind, and Fire, where it's you don't know what you're gonna get. You could be loving, you could be have a party, you could be on a
in
psychedelic trip.
Right, that's what I say. You could be in Mars, but it's like if you watch that Unsung, they talked about how the Unsung of Earth, Wind, and Fire. They talked about how they did things, and like the song, one of my favorite songs by them, and it's like it's such an ingenious song. But I even posted on Facebook. I said these niggas had to be high as hell to come up with this stuff. Boogie Land.
Oh yeah.
That's Boogie Wonderland.
yeah.
But anyway, that's something to deal with the emotions, but the crazy thing is that the song is about actually drugs. So but it's like they're just two totally different. It's like Earth, Wind, and Fire is like ingenious music, and like Isley Brothers is more like bedroom talk,
emotional,
music.
Whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but also they are also different musically as well in a sense of their arrangement. So like for instance, the Isley Brothers, they loop a lot of the same musical parts during the verse and the chorus, and they may have a bridge, but it's pretty much going to be the same beat, the same melody.
It's like they find a pocket and they stay in
it. Right? Yeah, exactly. That's a good. They find a pocket and they
stay in it.
Do. Right, and that's through the whole song. But like Earth, Wind, and Fire, you're gonna get like 5 different songs in one thing. So that was.
They're gonna have multiple pockets. It's gonna
be
they're gonna keep switching up.
Get the pocket 3A.
Right.
3A, stand C.
You gotta have a schedule.
Right. And then the only other thing I was gonna bring up was about the it kind of means, but more so about Ron Isley and the fact that he actually looks good. Like, not on that sounds shady.
No,
actually looks good, but he looked really good. Like the nigga looked good,
Right, better than you would expect. What he's 79.
79.
Right? So I mean, it doesn't matter how good you expect someone to look. When you say 79, you expect some 79. Age, right? You look at him, and he's like, hey, he could pass for a good 56 or something, or younger,
good 60 or something. But it was, I did see a lot of people posting was like, oh yeah, y'all like Ron Isley all of a sudden now, and they started showing the different pictures of how he looked, maybe 10 years ago, and now, everybody knows Ron Isley's having, the clean face, the ponytail, and whatever, and now he has the beard.
He's transformed.
And he has like new teeth or something, and he got rid of the ponytail.
Right.
And I'm like, so what? I'm like, I don't care if he did all that. He's the nigga 79. I'm sorry, the man's 79 years old. So
I mean, if we can be here to reach 79 and be in good, well enough, and in our physically able to still perform.
Activity of our limbs.
All that stuff. Right. That's what I was going for. If we still have all that and I can look half as that good.
Right.
Except
and all I'm saying is just grow your beard in and get some dentures or get some
why not?
new teeth. It's like, okay. But anyway. So that was my only thing I had. That was my points on. I'm trying to put my phone down. I forgot to use these for notes. For that, we're not going to go dive deep into it because y'all been talking about it already.
Sharing our thoughts.
You want to talk about Kid Cudi and his dress?
Sure, why not?
So, what were your thoughts on his fashion style?
I was totally confused by it, and I don't know if you've learned whatever, but I saw a posting from one of the people we follow, Joy and Reed. Apparently, there was a whole message behind it. Apparently, because if you look at the shirt he was wearing at first, it was a picture of Kurt Cobain.
Okay.
And apparently, that's a similar or inspired by a dress that Kurt Cobain wore during a performance or something. So again, I don't get I don't follow Kid Cudi enough to know that, but apparently that's what it was all about. But I still think it was a very odd fashion choice.
But so was Kurt Cobain have to do anything? I know that name. I just can't picture the face of the person.
Yeah. Troubled Mind. Another one of those people. I think he committed suicide. I don't want to put wrong stuff out.
Oh, was he a comedian? Musician. I mean, that's what I thought he was a musician. Yeah. But okay.
So, but again, like the connection between the two is not clear. But apparently, that's what it was all about. But I still think it's a questionable choice.
Okay, hold on one second, y'all. Let me try something real quick. We've got turned on highlights. See, things happen. Brighter. Things happen. Okay. Well, and it's funny too because I haven't seen that many posts about people saying, "Oh, it's that gay stuff." I haven't seen, but it's just been like, "Why?"
Yeah, it was. It's still very random. Yeah, because you had to know.
For me, it's not the fact that he's wearing a dress. I'm like, it wasn't flattering.
Right. It's like you gonna wear a nice one.
I'm like, you have brush like.
He could have put off a nice.
I don't know. I didn't like the print. But I get it. It was if it was supposed to be
a message,
like a metaphor or like, what have you.
Yeah, I don't want to judge his reasonings for doing it, but
I didn't like the execution.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. We didn't need it. That's yeah. And it's funny too because he said during his performances, and like I don't even remember his performances, even though I watched them. Mm-hmm. We were watching them, and usually I pretty much enjoy SNL's. And sometimes they're like, okay, no, yes, but even if you don't ever heard the artist,
right? Even if they're totally different,
so a lot of times they put on a pretty good show, and then it's like Kid Cudi's music was like it just seemed like mediocre, lackluster to me. There was nothing great about it. It was like he was up there just rapping, and the white boy before, like that was on 2 weeks before. I thought he did better than Kid Cudi. Yeah, I forgot his name.
I don't remember who it was.
I added, there's a white rapper on there. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, and I enjoyed him more than I could enjoy Kid Cudi. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, out there. I mean, I would say I've somewhat of a kid. I've always known of Kid Cudi. I liked his music.
Right, I did too. I liked his first album.
And I did listen to the lyrics and stuff, and it was just I get I think for me personally, bad placement. Like I'm watching Saturday Night Live to kind of be light and free or whatever, and he kind of brought me down. But I get it. He has a message to tell. So hey.
Well, and I'll push back on that because usually people do go on SNL with a message. Yeah. Like think about Megan Thee Stallion. She was on there and she gave a message about empowering black women to protect black women. So they usually have a message, but usually it's entertaining. I guess. The only thing entertainment. Right. The only thing entertaining about his performance was that he wore a dress.
Right. And nobody knew why.
And I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. So
do you, girl? Do you?
I know.
But I mean, and it's funny because we're gay and we're talking about. So I'm like, y'all know it has nothing to do with sexuality. The fact that it was a poor fashion choice.
I will admit, the first thing I thought of was like, I mean, they at least could have styled them better. Who made this decision?
I just didn't like the dress. I didn't like the dress. That's all it was. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't. Right. But since we talking about gay stuff, well, it's not really gay because we just said we're gay and we just didn't enjoy the fashion. That's all. It had nothing to do with the fact that we didn't think he was being demasculated or emasculated or whatever. Had nothing to do with that. Like we still see him as a full
styling critique.
Guy. We just it's literally styling critique. We didn't like it because we didn't like the dress on him. But being gay, a lot of people do have expectations of you and how you're supposed to be and stuff. And it's just So Mike and I came up to conclusion or had an enlightening epiphany moment or whatever, aha moment like a while ago. And okay, we're black and we're gay. Shut up. Everyone from the South, all that stuff, right? But nobody ever considers the fact that we're minorities everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And it gets hard sometimes. And like, you know, you okay at school, at work, okay, we're a minority because we're black and gay, or black or gay or whatever. But it's like we lived in Harlem for years, and although there's a lot of black people in Harlem, there's not a whole lot of gay people in Harlem. Never mind, there are gay people. Yeah, they there. They just. But it's like
they're there.
You just have to be cognizant of the fact that we're a minority. Now we live in uptown Manhattan, further up, and we live in a predominantly Dominican neighborhood. And so now we're like, there are black people here too, but it's like we're still minorities, we're black and gay, and it just makes things a little bit extra difficult for us at times. And we can explain if you want. Do I have? You want?
Sure. I mean,
I didn't want to like keep talking and like.
No, I mean that's. Yeah. Like you said, we're a minority everywhere. I've experienced it being in boardrooms, at jobs or whatever, being the only black person or the only gay person, like you said. And even among gay people, right. A lot of times we're the only married couple nowadays.
Well, there you go.
And like you said, here in a little Dominican Republic, we are one of the few people that people just assume we speak Spanish, and we don't.
And it's single brothers.
Right. So it's like we are constantly just kind of
trying to
slightly on the outskirts of the crowd everywhere we go.
And that's a good way to put it. It's just so there's things that people don't consider when like for traveling. Like for instance, like there's a lot of black people, even back in the day, like in this Jim Crow era, black people had to be careful about where they traveled, exactly. Because places didn't lodge black people.
They didn't take too kindly to us.
Right. You couldn't stop and eat at a restaurant. Right. You use the bathroom. You know all the stories. But it's like, so nowadays we still have to do that. Black people, like, we have to go look at certain countries and see what their
the culture is.
Yeah, the culture is, and see if they are good to black people, basically. And I see a lot of black people, they bring it up, but nobody brings up how hard it is. What if you're black and you're gay? Right. And like, because there's certain countries we just are kind of afraid to go to. And if we do go, or if we do want to go, we have to look like, okay, what are their laws? Is homosexuality against the law? Right. And a lot of these countries, in international places, that is, a lot of it is against the law to be gay. So of course we can't go being married and holding hands and stuff,
and being free.
And it's like, what does that mean? That means when we book a hotel, we have to book a room with
two suites or two rooms,
two queen beds. Right. We can't book a king room. Right. Like, I really want to go to Jamaica, but I was like, I would really love to see the whole country, but it's like, or the whole island or whatever. But I know they tell you to stay on the resorts for the most part, and then. For us, like you hear horror stories about how gay people are treated in the Caribbean in general. We went to Bermuda, and
which is beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous! But I didn't know it was like one of the most expensive places in the world to live.
One of
literally. Did you know if you wanted to move to Bermuda, you have to like send them your financial statements,
right?
And you have to have like, what was it, $600,000
in the bank
at the time
in order to own. Like, you can go there and maybe rent something, but if you want to go there, move there and own property, they have to vet your financial.
They vet you. There's like, we don't want poors. No poors here. But it's like, when we to they said, homosexuality is against the law here. Is not, no one's going to really do anything, but we encourage you not to basically
flaunt it
or have any public displays of affection.
Right.
So there's a lot of times when we travel, we're not on each other, and not because
we just have to be cognizant
and careful,
especially when you're international.
Yeah, because, it's like,
I mean, I love my country, but I'm not, nobody wants to be overseas trying to call you United States Department of State trying to, like, can y'all get me back home? Right.
Like, they have arrested us. They're hanging us in the morning.
Right.
So it's, I mean.
I don't want to put that burden on I don't want to have to depend on my country to do that.
Yeah, and they won't. They'll just
right.
Hang the queers, So it's little stuff like that we were like always cognizant of. And I think that's also why people think we're more brothers than friends, because when we're out, we just aren't. There are times when we are lovey-dovey and affectionate, but most of the time, especially walking through the city, we kind of are just like
two guys. Yeah,
and I think it stems from us in the time we grew up in. And like, for difference. Like we grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and it definitely was not okay to be gay back then. Anytime prior to now, no, it was not okay to be in this be gay in this country.
It was not widely accepted.
There was no gay actors, stars, movies, shows. There was nothing. So you were always trying to just blend in and fit in with the other guys, you know. So you weren't trying to be. You didn't want to be called the sissy, the faggot, or you was always fighting because you're getting called that. So you did everything you could to put on a more of a masculine front. And I think it just kind of just set with this. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the most masculine dude or whatever, but you're not at all. But it's like
I think we're both.
When people see us, they don't. When people see us out, they don't assume we're gay.
They don't. Yeah, that's not the first thing they think. Yeah. Quite frankly, sometimes we have to convince them that we are not brothers, that we are in fact in a relationship, married or whatever. Like, and even sometimes, wasn't it one time we told one. Yeah, and we was like, you know, we're together, and she's like, nah, they brothers or something. One lady was walking away.
I don't know. I was we were on a cruise a few years ago.
True.
And we got in an elevator, and it was an elevator full of white people. So we get on, and we're like, oh, and they're like, yeah, you see all these white people, huh? So it was funny. Right. It's like, my God, you guys twins? Like, and no. I was like, we were like, no. Oh, you but you're cousins, you're related, right? No. Brothers? No. Oh, you just good friends? No. And then you know that meme, that Diddy meme from The Voice, where the guys him and the guy looking back and forth. That's all it was. It was us.
Just look.
You know what it is, girl. You just don't want to. You could tell they're probably from somewhere like down south down south.
Right, basically.
So, but even when went to my aunt's funeral, there was a person there.
Oh yeah,
and she had her whole family with her, and he was like, "Y'all gotta be brothers." Like, no, girl, no. You would be shocked,
right,
and appalled. But what time? 2:16. Okay, 16 minutes. We've been on here 16 minutes. Well, there's only one more thing I want. We'll wrap it up for the month.
Okay,
wrap it up. Okay. So yeah, those are our points for right now. I mean, there is something I want to talk. I did want to bring up. That's the David Chauvin case. Before we go,
Derek.
What I say? David. Okay.
I mean, that we care about his name that much, but
no. And we said we weren't going to talk about politics and social justice and anything too
heavy or serious.
Yeah.
But this is something that has permeated just everyday life at this point, because there's. Like I've told you so many times, I feel like there's so many things that are involved with this case that extend far beyond just politics and policing and everything else. It's so much. So I know you had a note that you did want to cover particularly.
There was a few notes, and there was one note that you talked about specifically, though, that kind of struck a chord with me or hit me. And it was actually after finding out about the newest,
right?
The Dante Wright. He's only 20 years old, shot by the police. Apparently, it was by accident. Whatever. We're not going to go into the ins and outs of it, but it happened in Minnesota, just a few miles from where
this case is taking place.
Right. The George Floyd, Derek Chauvin case taking place, and you brought up a point about your nephew.
Yeah. That speaking to my sister not too long ago, she was talking about how my nephew he is 15 and will be turning 16 this year. And so we know what time it is. It's time for him to start learning how to drive or whatever. He hasn't made a whole lot of effort in that area. And she was trying to convince him. And we were talking about it. But basically it comes up, he's like, he's not excited or interested to drive. And I can understand why, because he doesn't want to get pulled over. And it's like,
he said he was afraid of getting pulled over.
And you think about that, like that's a hard argument to like try to combat. It's like, you get ready to be like, but no, you gotta learn how to drive. It's like, but then you see case, and literally like it's really the Dante Wright case. It's like this was a child, a young man, but
he's 20 years old man, but it's like to us that's like anybody
a child. He was a child, and his registration was not up to date, and
it probably wasn't his mama's. It was probably his mama's name. That's why he was calling her.
Right. So any child in that case, you've been taught to do. Hey, you're getting pulled over, and you don't know what's going on. Call your mom. And if I don't even know if they told him that it was his registration up front where he could have asked the question or not, but regardless, like just to be doing the right thing and you're driving a car and you weren't speeding or anything, you're getting pulled over for expired tags in a place where tags haven't come out in a whole year because places have been shut down anyway. And so just to see all that, and then I think about my nephew and other people his age, all the kids that will be around 15, 16 now, I don't blame them for not wanting to go get a license and learn how to drive. because there's an element to that. It's just terrifying.
It's dangerous for us.
It's like you can't even do the right thing, and just like the guy in Virginia, if you feel threatened by the police and say, okay, put your lights on, signal lights on, and go to a well-lit area, and because that's what they tell us to do, even that can get you
like the fact that
assaulted.
he was the one trying to de-escalate the situation. He's not even a police officer. He didn't pull himself over, and he has to de-escalate the situation.
It's like, and this is a young man who's charged with the responsibility of leading people into war. He's active duty. Like we're dependent on him to defend our whole country, and you come back here and you can't even get a new car and drive and do the right thing. Put your blinkers on, go to a well-lit area, and you're still assaulted. So why would a young person want to get their license and learn how to drive in this climate? Like I totally, and it's heartbreaking because it's like you can't. I don't know. It's just it's all.
I've been through the same thing when
you have
when the crazy thing was I didn't even do anything wrong. I was driving my car, and another car comes and runs a red, going through an intersection. He runs through the red light. He wasn't paying attention. Totals my car. Long story short, guess who ends up getting arrested?
Right.
That's right. The other guy was not black. He wasn't white either, but he was not. He looked more well to me. Right. He was non-black, and because he was driving a Land Rover, and I was driving a little Oldsmobile Laro 2-door. But it was cute though. I had just graduated from college. You know, my mother bought me that car. It was a little sporty car. It was silver. I really loved that car. I used to push it. But anyway, but yeah, driving, and he runs a red light. I called the police. Mind you, I told you that my mother got me that car for as a graduation gift. The car was still in her name. I went to Howard University, by the way, for those of you who didn't know. I went to Howard University. So I was in DC. I'm from North Carolina, like I said. So my car had North Carolina tags. The registration had just expired, and my mother had just paid off the car, so she was sending all the information for me. She was like in the middle of we're in the process of doing all of that,
doing all the right things,
right? And it was within the law of DC because I went to DMV and they told me how much time I had to get all this stuff done. Mm-hmm. So I was literally in the process of doing all that. Get an accident, but the guy runs the red light. I call the police. The police start questioning me. Whose car is this? And like, it's my car, but it's on his name. And because that North Carolina tags, They was like asking, what your license is North Carolina and it just expired. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the process of getting a new license for DC. I already went down to the DMV, and I showed them I showed them everything. I had and the only thing that was not up to date was the registration. The registration had just expired. And they were like, oh, gotta arrest you.
Right.
I was like, huh? And it was like, yep. And like, but no worries, the bail will only be $50. I'm like, so basically you're arresting me for a citation. That's that. And this guy literally ran a red light, totaled my car. Y'all didn't ask to make sure I was okay. Y'all just want to take me down. I literally was bawling at the intersection, crying because it was like everything I had done up to this point. I was begging the police officers not to arrest me. I said, you don't understand. I'm a college graduate. I go to church. I pay my tithes. I'm a good person. This or the other. I've not done anything wrong. I don't have a record. This or the other. My sister was at the scene, and she overheard the police officer talking to the other person driving the car. And they're like, oh, you guys are arresting? And the other guy that hit me was questioning why they're arresting me. And the guy said, well, his registration expired. And the guy was like, okay, but that's a $50 citation in the state in the District of Columbia at that time. It was because my aunt came down to jail and paid $50 and I was out. So they booked me and everything. But anyway, the police officer told the guy, said, yeah, usually when we arrest him, we find more stuff on him anyway. And if we don't find anything on him, at least he'll be in the system. So if I were to do anything in the future, like, and it was at that point where it clicked where my parents said, never get arrested. You don't want to get in the system. You do not want to get in the system. That's all we were told as black kids. You do not want to get put in the system because once you're in the system, there's no way out. And it I heard it before, but it never.
It doesn't register in that
going
situation.
Through it. And I had to go down and I was locked up in jail.
And for so many of us, everyday life in some cases becomes, how do I provide for me, my family, my household, and not get arrested? Or not get,
get locked up.
Or not, and then the thing is because you take into account, it doesn't even mean that you're doing something wrong. It's like, how do I not encounter the police under any circumstances? Because it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. An encounter with the police could mean my life.
Exactly.
And so it's funny. I guess to sum it up, actually, first, it was something that yesterday, I believe it was Van Jones said that why in the world do we have these heavily armed people coming to do traffic stops
for petty crimes,
for petty crimes,
or
like,
petty violations.
Why does there need to be a person with a taser, a gun, a baton, flashlights, backup, and everything else just because a person has expired registration? It's crazy.
And the person pulled over. You pulled them over and they stopped.
And as we see, based on current events, cooperating doesn't mean anything.
It really does not.
You can cooperate all you want to. If they've decided that they've had a bad day and they're going to take their frustration out on you, but then you're just the bad luck of the draw.
No, keep going.
But I guess I would say, to sum it all up, is basically like we have to be careful where we go, our interactions and everything, because police in America are just crazy. You try to leave out of the country and you have to kind of be cognizant or aware of where you're going to travel and have a good time. And I feel like after all that stress and worrying or whatever, if I can live to be 79 years old and look like Ronald Isley, I deserve it.
And if I want to get a tummy tuck, some Botox, a facelift, I'm 79 years old.
Right.
I'm gonna do it.
I think any black person who has lived through all the stuff that they've gone through, they get to 79 at this. You know what? Do anything that you can do to be as happy as you want to be? Freaking do it.
I totally agree. Because life is short.
Yes,
life is short, and you worry about what people saying. The same people that you worry about who talk about you and what they say. Guess what? What if you were to die before them? Them niggas go. Sorry, I gotta watch my mouth. Yeah. Them people gonna be the same people looking over at you with your casket, like, oh. Well, I wouldn't have picked that suit, but okay. And they're going to go on about their day.
Why they look so dusty?
Right. And they're going to leave out that funeral, and they're going to go about their day. They're going to get something to eat, and they're going to live and be fine. And you sitting here dead, and you didn't even live the life you wanted to live, or could have been. You didn't meet your full potential because you always worried about what others had to say, whether their opinions or what have you. That's why I say you can't worry about other people. Can't worry about their opinions or anything like that. It really is not worth it at the end. And there's been so many times I've heard about nurses or people who live with who work as home caretakers for the people who are dying in hospice and stuff, and their regret is that they didn't do things, certain things. And it's like at that point, it's like you really, I just find it so devastating, like to be in a bed and you like, I never got to do XYZ, and you literally cannot. Yeah, like there's no option. There's no, I can do it tomorrow or I can do it next week. Next month, let's plan to go to India. Like, if you cannot do it. It's done. To
get to that point,
can you imagine
no longer an option?
That is that's
yeah. It's so do all you can,
please, and live life to the fullest, and be good to others. Okay, I'm not Ellen here, but that's how she ends hers. Be good to others. Or she says,
well, let's not even go there. There's a whole lot going on that set.
Yeah, because she said, yeah.
It's relative. Your words are relative. You can say all the nice things you want. Doesn't mean anything if there's no action behind it. Right. Anyway, we try to put action behind our words. We try to do nice to people. So we'll say, do nice things, be good.
And have much gratitude.
Much gratitude.
Even in your lowest moments, have gratitude. Sometimes you're like, this is what I do. I say, gratitude.
Yes.
And that means whether you're Christian, Jewish, atheist, whatever, you're just putting out there that you have gratitude, and that when you put that out there,
good things come.
Yeah. Even when you don't have anything, you say gratitude means you're saying you're saying thank you, and that means you're like, it's almost like you're tricking the universe. Like, oh, he's saying thank you, but
I didn't do nothing. Let's make it rain on this fellow.
At least that's what we believe.
Yeah,
we believe in the power of the tongue, the power of affirmations and being and existing, and just all that you want to be exerted and show it and be it.
Yes.
If I say I'm a 27-year-old Moroccan man, Moroccan prince, hey,
why not? Who's to say you're not? Other than your bloodline.
I do feel like a god, though. I actually do feel like a god. But I feel like all of us for gods. Okay, we're running off track here. So, and this is live, so we can't even.
Right. So
we'll just wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. So
yeah.
I hope y'all enjoyed. We sorry missed y'all last week. We'll see you all again next week, whether it's live or through another video or whatever. And go to other videos, like, share, and
subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
All right. Enjoyed you all. Hope you enjoyed us, and hope to see you all soon.
All right.
Much love to you all. Bye.
Bye.